This Soviet cook was just preparing dinner for his fellow soldiers when he spotted a German tank approaching from the distance. Panicking, he ducked down and hid. But the tank opened fire, wild and random. One shell struck the field kitchen. All the food he had worked so hard to cook was destroyed. That was the last straw. The cook lost control. He grabbed his axe, climbed onto the tank, and began screaming and smashing it with everything he had. Inside the tank, the German soldiers were panicking. They fired randomly, but saw no enemy. Meanwhile, the cook sat directly on top of the machine gun, slamming it over and over with his axe. The constant firing caused the barrel to overheat and bend. The crew inside finally realized someone was on top of them. They tried to shake him off by speeding up, but the cook held on tight. Then he removed his apron and covered the tank's periscope. He tore off his sleeves and plugged the rest of the vision slits. Now the Germans couldn't see anything. They panicked. The tank crashed into a tent. The cook ripped through the fabric with his axe, emerged screaming, and made as much noise as he could, banging, stomping, yelling in broken German. It sounded like an entire Soviet battalion was attacking. Then he lit some straw on fire and dropped it into the tank. Smoke poured in. Inside, the German soldiers were terrified. One cried, one laughed hysterically. Total panic. Then the cook yelled, in rough German, "Bring anti-tank grenade." Now, that was it. The Germans broke. They opened the hatch, tossed out their weapons, and climbed out. The cook stood there with a rifle, aimed at them. He had captured the tank. As the soldiers turned to see who their enemy was, they froze. It wasn't a soldier, it was just a cook, alone. But it was too late. The cook burst out laughing. Soon after, the Soviet troops returned. They saw a tank in the distance and thought it was another attack. They hit the ground and aimed their weapons. But the commander peeked through his binoculars and saw the cook standing on the tank, holding a rifle, yelling, "Dinner's ready, boys." Everyone was speechless. The cook had captured a tank and 4 enemy soldiers without firing a single bullet, and best of all, dinner was ready.